Hang on a second, let us adjust some levels here.
And everybody here?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're good now.
Okay.
Give us one more sound check there, Brian.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Sounds good. Looks like we got more people on Zoom than in the meeting room, so.
Okay. Well, everyone, welcome to the Patton Township September 12th planning meeting. We'll call the meeting to order. And the first item of business is the approval of last month's meeting. Do we have any corrections, adjustments to make to the meeting? If not, I'll ask someone to make a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Thank you, Jim. Do we have a second? Thank you. Looks like Rich, I think your hand might have been up first. So all in favor of approval of the minutes, raise your hand or say aye.
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 So moved. Our next item of business is public comment. So am I correct, Doug, that we have you and Sharon in the room and that is it?
We also, Nicole Harder, our zoning officer, and Mark Bokel, planner from CRPA are here also.
Very good, okay. Other than all of you who are there, we don't have anyone from the public in the meeting. Do we have anyone here on Zoom that would like to make a public comment that's not on the Planning Commission or on the agenda? Very good. So we will then move on to item 4, which is exciting. So it's our J&C Market, which is the former Lohr's, I think I pronounced that correctly, garage. And Alex, would you like to tee us up and tell us what we're looking at?
Sure. As you stated, the site is the former Lohr's Garage, located at 1869 North Atherton Street. The developer is proposing a retail Asian market specializing in Asian foods and other retail goods. It is a 0.69 acre parcel located in the C1 zoning district. The project will entail complete building renovation, including an addition of 2,522 square feet, and the proposed single-story building will be a total of 6,282 square feet. There is one entry and one exit connected to the eastbound lane of North Atherton. Existing crosswalks will be repainted. They are currently working with PennDOT on this because it is on North Atherton Street, which requires a roadway or highway occupancy permit. Process. So we'll turn this over to the developers team to see if they would like to. And Kenny Stepp is here with Mid-Penn Engineering to see if he would like to give any more data on the project.
Kenny, take it away.
Sure. I don't know if you want me to share my screen. I don't know if you want me to do a brief presentation.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You request to share. If I can find the button. I can never find the button.
Doug, can you give Ken?
Oh, here it is. I got it. I'm disabled. Need to be enabled. I mean, I don't.
Hang on.
Or you could bring up the plan, Alex, if you have it available.
Yeah, maybe Doug walked away. And these are our review comments.
Okay, Ken, I gave you permission to share.
Oh, okay.
Great. Okay.
Right when I get to the plans. Is it? Do you want to do it, Ken, or do you want me to just go ahead and?
I'll go ahead and do it if that's all right.
That's fine with me.
All right. Alrighty. Okay. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
Yeah?
Good, okay. So here's just the track map, title sheet, basic information about the project. I don't know if I need to bore you with going through the title sheet, but there were some corrections we need to make there. I believe we've now got that in order. This plan is the existing condition plan, and the cross hashes indicate some demolition of some pavement areas to be demolished to make way for some of the new improvements. You can see the existing building is kind of an L-shaped building here. And there's a pavement area here in the rear that will be removed, as well as a concrete area. And then there's a large stone stabilized area. There's an existing stormwater basin here with a long swale and a weir that then discharges in a sheet flow condition to a narrow strip of property here, and then eventually to the PennDOT drainage system. And the front of the property, a lot of the existing pavement will remain as it is. There is existing signage on the property. I assume at some point the property owner will be applying for signage permits to erect new business signage. But that's not part of this application, but the sign poles, I assume, will be reutilized at some point. And there are existing light poles. There's one at each corner. I guess I could zoom in here. There are existing light poles at each corner of the parking lot. The poles are planned to be reutilized. And there are also existing light poles along this side of the property. And then there are existing building mounted lightings on the building as it is now. There's several tree plantings in the rear of the property. There's a few on the west side and a few on the east side. There's some parking spaces that are delineated. The former use, as you know, was Lore's Garage, and they were service and sales. So they had outdoor service and sales, or indoor service, I guess, outdoor sales. It's got existing water and sewage connections that will be reutilized. We have been in touch with the authority, and I believe we've done everything we need to do in terms of to get our building permit for water and sewer. And they've agreed that we're not increasing the sewage number of EDUs. That's been verified with the State College Authority. This is North Atherton Street. As Alexandra indicated, there are two existing driveways here and here. There's some inlets out on the street. The water, sewer, gas, and storm mains all are on this side of Atherton. So that's kind of it for the existing condition plan. I'll move on to the site plan. If there's any questions, feel free to interrupt me. I can have a tendency to ramble also if I'm taking too much time. Let me know to speed up. So this is the site plan. Here's the building addition that's going to be added, 2,522 square feet foot building addition in this corner of the building here. The entire building will be renovated, as Alexandria indicated. We will be collecting the downspouts from the new roof addition here at this location and piping it back into the existing storm basin So we've honored the existing drainage divides that are there, and we've done hydraulic pipe calculations for this new pipe and provided a pipe profile. These gray dashed lines represent the drainage areas to the two inlets. We're actually reutilizing this existing inlet that's here. We're going to relocate to this location and reutilize that. You'll see circles here that represent, well, we'll get to that. That's some tree plantings and landscaping that are required to meet the township's landscaping requirements. The two required handicap parking stalls will be located at this corner of the building. We have to modify some of the paving to ensure that we meet the grade requirements for that. And we've worked with Center Region Code to provide the required access, handicap access way, and ensure that this stretch of sidewalk is handicap accessible with all the required handicapped curb ramps. And of course, that will all be reviewed by PennDOT as well. The driveway modifications involve reconfiguring the curb lines for this entrance, which will be the main public entrance, one in, one out off of the, yes, this is the westbound lane of Atherton Street. It'll be a right out only. And, I guess a right in only, really. There's some signage we're adding to promote good circulation, such as pedestrian crossing signs, of course, a stop sign. We are repainting this crosswalk here. We are placing do not enter signs here. Another pedestrian crossing sign here. This kind of got off the plan a little bit, but there's a right turn only, left turn sign that's going to be installed here as well. So we have all the signage that is necessary to make it a safe entrance and exit. Again, of course, PennDOT will be reviewing the signage and the proposed striping here. And then this existing driveway here is planned to remain. And the reason for that is for truck deliveries. It is difficult to get larger trucks in and out. We can get them in this location, but then to get them turned around on the site is very difficult. For that reason, I have discussed with Jim Roman with PennDOT the necessity to keep this existing entrance open for trucks to enter, and they can enter, load in the loading zone, and then they can exit here. So they don't have to do a 180-degree turn on site. That would be basically, it's just impossible for that to happen. And so Jim has recognized that limitation of the site, and he's recommended that we add rumple strips in this area to not persuade motorists from entering this, can't think of the word, make this not a desirable way for motorists to enter the site. The hope is that they all come in this way and do not utilize this entrance. I believe we had, there was supposed to be a truck only, do not, well, looks like the one sign got eliminated from this plan. I'll have to talk to my drafter and get that updated. But,
And there's a sign that says do not enter right here.
yeah, but we also had a sign that said truck deliveries only.
Oh.
I think that was supposed to be added right here to this, for this pedestrian crossing sign. Unless PennDOT made us remove it, I'll have to get with my drafter to find out. But the final PennDOT HOP plans will show the correct signage. And we'll get these plans updated and resubmitted if necessary. So that might be a minor detail that needs to be fixed. So that kind of, we show the parking here. We do have the required number of parking stalls. I think it was 26 stalls, if I recall. I may be wrong about that. I have to go back to the title sheet, but we do have the required number per the ordinance. So we have enough parking. We have a loading zone here in front of the dumpster enclosure, and we have coordinated with the refuse collection service and provided the right number and size of the dumpster receptacle, the cardboard receptacle, and we also have recycling containers back here at the rear of the store as well. That it is required in the township for recycling. So it kind of does it for the site plan. Of course, we have all the grades indicated at the top of curb, at edge of pavement elevations. That's what these boxes are indicating. So I'll move on to the next plan, unless there are any questions on this particular plan.
So can I have a question, but before I go, do we have anything, Pat, any other planning commission members want to chime in on anything thus far?
My only question was about bicycle parking. Is there bicycle parking anywhere?
We
That was
don't
one of my
show
questions.
any area, but I assume they could park. There's room here. We don't, no, to answer the question, we did not provide any dedicated bicycle parking. But I think there are certainly opportunities for bikes to park here and then also maybe in this rear striped area. That's something we could add if the township would like that to be added.
Ellen, is that your only question?
I have a couple, but that's okay.
No, go ahead. And then Jim, we'll give you the floor after Ellen. Go ahead, Ellen.
I just wondered if there was any, because of it being a garage, the past use being a garage, is there any hazardous waste cleanup or anything like that required?
Yes, that's a good point. And coordinating with the university authority, there is an existing well, we just indicated as 4-inch PVC cleanout, but right, this is a grease trap, or not, sorry, not an oil water separator, where all of the floor drains from the garage, like the wash bays, all drained to that location. Now, they didn't dump oil down there. It was really just to catch, like if they were doing a car wash of the car, or if there was a spill, obviously they would use absorbent to capture that spill. They didn't intentionally dump things in the trench drain, but most service garages do have those types of trench drains, and code requires those to be directed to oil water separators, which there is one located at this location, and we discussed that with the authority, and they said the required means and method for dealing with that is to be pumped out, and then once it's pumped out, we are to fill the compartment with 2RC stone to fill that and basically abandon that tank in place. They said is the recommended way to deal with that system. And that's something that's currently connected to the sanitary sewer system. So any drainage from that went into the sewer system, and that is going to be then disconnected from the system and just left in place right at that location. But other than that, no, there are no other hazardous wastes that we are aware of. We have done a full inspection of the interior and exterior of the building, and we did not find any hazardous wastes or anything of that sort.
And my last question is just, is there any kind of, I guess, rendering or anything that would give us an idea of what the appearance of the facade would be?
Yeah, I can share with you our building drawings. I'm not sure, I'm not the building guy, I'm the site guy in our office, but let me pull up a copy of what I believe are the most recent building drawings, and you can take a look at some of the elevations and the floor plan of the building.
Those are my only questions.
Very, all good questions. Thank you, Ellen.
So just bear with me a moment while I find this. There it is. Oh, I'm in a meeting. I'll get back to you. Sorry about that. We have a Dunkin' Donut meeting in the morning. Free donuts for us.
Good.
Okay. Are you guys seeing this CAD image coming up?
No. we
Not
still-
yet.
The same as it was.
It's the same as it was. Okay. I need to change my share window, so bear with me a moment while I do that.
Yeah.
New share. Okay, I'm sorry I don't have PDF documents, because these drawings are in the works, but here is basically some basic elevations and a floor plan. I guess let's just start with the floor plan. Make sure I got the correct one. Yes, this is the correct floor plan. So this side is facing Atherton Street, and this is the west side of the building, and this is the east side of the building. The new addition is kind of this corner of the building for reference, and I'll just start with the front of the building. These are the entrance ways. There will be a vestibule area, airlock area that leads into the checkout area that you'll come through to enter the store. And as you enter the store, it leads directly into the market area. There's shelving here, some freezer space here, walk-in coolers, dry storage. There's an exit, a rear exit required by code, and for them to utilize. And then more shelving and display of market items. Separate men's and women's restrooms. There is an attic that will be used for storage. There's a utility closet for mechanical purposes. And then this is a food prep area. They do sell and offer food items for sale at the market, such as you would at a lot of grocery stores. They I don't know exactly the items. Chinese food. My wife likes it. I do as well. So I'm sure all kinds of varieties of Chinese food will be put in containers and offered for sale. So this is the kitchen area here. And there's some equipment there. There is no indoor seating. This is not a restaurant. This is strictly a food prep area related to the market. So, and then after you gather all of your grocery items from this area of the store, this is then the checkout area. You come back through the checkout area, and there are 1, 2, 3 different checkout locations. There's an area for carts, and you basically go out the same way you came into the building. So that's kind of a once-over on the floor plan. I apologize, I'm not an architect. I'm a
Very good.
civil engineer, but I try to muddle through. And here are the building elevations. So this is looking from North Atherton, looking at the front of the store. They will have some signage, again, that they will be applying for. They have their own logo. I don't know that they have that, that created at this point, but look for a signage application in the future. It looks like there is going to be some block veneer facade. There's some required handicap parking signage that we had to mount on the building. This is the entrance. There's going to be some windows here. These are aluminum entry doors for the kitchen space, I believe required by code. We are infilling some brick area and trying to match the existing brick facade. And there are some light fixtures that are mounted to the building. On this side of the building, you can see the roof lines, how they exist here, and these would all be existing roof lines. Looks like we'll be removing some shingles and doing a little bit of roofing work. So that's kind of the, I guess, would be the southern elevation. Then moving to the rear elevation, this is looking at it from Patriot Lane, I believe, or Bowl Alley, the one in the rear, back by the Trader Joe's, looking at it from this direction. Again, there's an entranceway to the rear of the market area, and then looks like they're removing these windows and just putting siding on this side of the building. There's some exhaust equipment, existing light fixture on the building, and you can see the roof lines on that side. And then this here would be using some shingles and doing a little bit of roofing work. Western exposed, western elevation. Again, there's another entrance. There will be some signage here at some point. There's going to be some downspouts that are directed down to where the existing downspouts are captured here at this location. This location, the downspouts will be captured into the new drainage system that goes to where all the water previously had gone. There are light fixtures on the garage, this side of the garage now, that will be relocated to the addition. The addition is going to have a flat roof here, so this will be the top of the roof, and then in the back you'll see the peaked roof of what was formerly the garage that will be renovated. So this side of the building is just proposed to be siding, and there is a sidewalk along this length of the building.
Hey, Ken, can I ask a quick, you had mentioned the sidewalk. Jim, I hope I'm not asking something you're already going to ask. But the sidewalk, there's no pedestrian access in the rear of this site, is that accurate?
That's correct, yeah. There's quite a steep bank back there. And, you know, it was difficult to get that program in there. I don't have the site plan up here.
Is there a sidewalk in the rear behind this building?
There actually is a bus stop back there. There was a sidewalk that goes to a bus stop on the south side of Patriot Avenue there, yes. Yep.
Okay, let's go back to that. Jim, I don't want you to keep waiting. Mr. Payne, you have some questions.
Yeah, a couple. If you can go back to the overall site plan, please.
Sure.
One of the comments was from Center Region Recycling, Refuse, whatever they're called, about concrete pad for where the trash and cardboard section is.
Yes.
Is that, are you putting a concrete pad in there?
As my understanding is that was a recommendation, not necessarily a requirement, and we discussed that with the owner, and they're just wishing to utilize the asphalt pavement. They believe that that will be adequate. Am I correct, or is that a township requirement?
That would be for Doug possibly, or Alex.
Doug or Alex? Anyone, either of you want to weigh in on that?
I
Does that need to
don't,
be a concrete
I
pad?
mean, we can check on it. I can't tell you off the top of my head whether it specifically says it needs to be paved or whether it needs to be concrete. But we can check and just whatever's required by the code, make that a condition of whatever required by Patton Township, make that a condition of the approval.
Okay, my other comment or question refers to some of the plantings, which you might get to later, but where the trash and cardboard receptacle is, you're showing trees that when they are grown up will be over half of the trash receptacle area. And I think most of the receptacles like that are front loading, so the truck pulls in, gets the container and just raises it up and dumps it in the back and puts the container back down.
Right, yeah, so they may need to either trim the tree on this side or pull out the container. That's what they do here at our office, is they come in, these are on wheels and they will pull them out before they load them if there's an overhead obstacle, but we could look to slide that over. That would probably be the easier thing to address that. That probably makes more sense, is to just slide these trees over closer to the property line, if that would be okay.
If you're starting out with planting new trees, it's gonna be a while before they grow up that big, but
Yeah.
my other concern was down between the entrance and your truck entrance off of Atherton. What are those three circles? Are those trees or what? Right through there.
The ones in here?
Yeah.
Yes, there are 3 understory trees. We have a CC and a WS, and let me zoom in a little closer here. And that was a CC as well. So those,
My concern with those is blocking view of traffic.
Yeah, so that's an Eastern Redwood and then Chinese Blue Wisteria. Yeah, so, yeah, we'll have to look at that to make sure that we maintain sight distance in this.
Because even though speed limit right through there is 35 on North Atherton, people don't go 35 through that stretch.
Yeah,
It's
certainly.
more like 45, and they're getting ready to speed up to 55 once they get past Tire Town, where the speed limit's 45. So cars zip along through there pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, we may have, we tried to move those trees back as
no,
far as.
that's right under a power line too. We're just gonna have to relocate those to someplace else on the site. So just count on that.
Okay,
Yeah,
will do.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know, it's tough, you know, I didn't know exactly how to, I think I had talked to Nicole at some point. I assumed that, you know, this is the front setback, so that this is the entire front yard, so as long as we put those somewhere in the front yard, that would be acceptable.
Jim, any other questions?
That's it for me.
So guys, I want to weigh in on pedestrian flow, but before I do, any other questions, comments from the Planning Commission? So I guess if we looked at the parcel, clearly when this property was, however old the garage is, when that was designed, at that bill, I'll give you one, at that time, there wasn't really anything behind here. So, so much has changed, particularly from, you know, a bus stop, Trader Joe's. I feel like it would be very common for people to grab some groceries here, go on foot, go behind the facility, hit Trader Joe's, then maybe head over to the direction of Sam's Club, or I'm sorry, of Wegmans. So I guess I'm a little, I understand we've got a grade issue here, but I think that people are naturally going to walk, I think they're just going to walk over the landscaping and go where they naturally want to go. Is that where, are you putting the cursor there? Is that where we could put a sidewalk or something?
Yeah, I think we could probably get a sidewalk here. We would have to, my concern is.
You're not gonna be able to put a sidewalk, you're gonna have to put stairs there.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do anything.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we could definitely get a stair here. Yeah, my concern was ADA accessibility. I don't know that we'll be able to get ADA, but we could certainly put a stair there.
Doug, any thoughts on that? Does it need to be ADA? Do we ask for ADA?
No, there's a sidewalk path from the front of the lot. There's sidewalk along the Patriots Lane. If somebody wanted to get to the back on a ADA compatible or an ADA compliant path, do that. Or, you know, if you wanted to go to the west, there's sidewalk along the front of this site and Taco Bell that's next door. So there is sidewalk available and it's ADA compliant.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're foolish to give it, you know, give it a green light without the ability to literally walk to everything that's behind it, which is where many people, pedestrians, are going to want to go.
I think we could add a stair here. Michelle, you're on the call. Michelle's the owner. Michelle, would you be open to adding a stair at this location and so folks that are parked in this area could, after they do their shopping, could come and walk down to your market?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate your cooperation. Do we have a sense too from the Planning Commission? Would we like to see some bicycle parking? Michelle, would you be willing to put in bicycle parking?
I just don't know where.
We probably need a rack for what, 4 spaces maybe?
Where?
Yeah,
for bicycle
Well,
racks?
Michelle, just so you're aware, Michelle, this happens to be, you're just a couple days before we're presenting at the board meeting where we hope to have permanent bike ordinance passed. So this just comes literally a couple days before. So I think for us to not ask for it does not make sense.
Okay. Ken, where would we be putting the bicycle rack?
You have this striped area here. Now, I know, we need to have access to these recycling containers. And I know you had mentioned about the possibility of maybe a smaller loading vehicle utilizing this area. So that's probably not the best area. Yeah, that's finding space on this site is a little tricky.
Hey,
Maybe in.
Doug,
Oh,
quick question for you. Since this is outside of the new ordinance, can we trade them one parking space for bicycle parking?
Well, somebody tell me, do they have any extra parking spaces on this site, or are they right at the minimum?
We are right at the minimum. It was tough to get this many stalls. But before we go that
Okay.
route, here is an area that maybe we can discuss that I think would possibly work out as a nice bicycle area, especially if folks bike on the sidewalks. It's right along the sidewalk and they can just pull off and park right there. We have more than ample space here. I think you only require 25 feet, and we have much more than 25 feet here. I think we would have room to put some bike racks right along the sidewalk here, if that would make sense.
Yeah, I think if you could put a rack that provided space for 4 bicycles, I think that would be sufficient.
Okay, so show a rack for 4 bicycles at this location? That would be okay?
Yep, staff seems to think that's a good idea, yeah.
Michelle, are you all right with that?
That should be fine if it doesn't obstruct anything, yeah.
No, it shouldn't obstruct anything. I think that would be fine there. PennDOT may weigh in that, but PennDOT, I think, likes pedestrian and bicycle access, so I think they would endorse that.
Okay.
Especially if they knew the township would like it.
Okay.
So. Okay. Yeah, I
Do
think
we
these
have
would be-
any other comments from the planning commission?
So I'm really not, just comment for myself, I'm really not comfortable with this entrance and exit, but I have no other idea of how to do it better other than flopping everything. But I'm just not comfortable with how this, to me, looks with the entrance and exit onto North Atherton. But that's me.
Bill, I thought the same thing when I looked at it. I thought, well, why wouldn't we access, are you also thinking of a rear access to this?
No, I'm not thinking of a rear access at all. All I'm concerned about is, an attempt to try to prevent people from going in on a, rumble strip type parking lot entrance. I'm not quite sure that that's actually going to work, but I could be wrong. I have concerns. I don't have a good suggestion.
Doug, do we have another area in the township that we have experience where the rumble strips work?
No, this is the first time we've seen something like this.
Well, my
Yeah.
only comment is, as far as the do not enter sign, is the no left turn in the Chick-fil-A really worked well. People are gonna ignore it if they want to and drive over the rumble strips.
Yeah, I don't know that we really care if somebody drives over the rumble strips, do we?
Well,
I
my
mean,
only concern is,
in the big picture, it's their choice.
Right, but my only concern is we have it going across a sidewalk. So that then becomes you know, potential for for a pedestrian to be hit when they're not expecting somebody to be crossing there, or driving in there. So I don't know, I don't have a good suggestion. All I'm saying is I don't currently like this, this setup.
Well, they're gonna have it marked with a pedestrian crossing, and any business that has a sidewalk in front and an entrance along North Atherton, it's the same way all the way along North Atherton. So far as
Correct, but
I'm, if you're a pedestrian on North Atherton, you gotta keep your wits about you and keep looking all around as you walk
Well, what
along
I'm-
businesses.
Yeah, what I'm concerned about, however, is I'm just concerned about the rumble strip portion of it. I think the other part's fine. It's the rumble strip portion that I'm concerned about.
But it's better than nothing, right?
Well, way I read it, the rumble strip portion is what PennDOT wanted. They only wanted one public entrance and exit, not two.
Does
And
that make sense, people?
Worst case scenario is they can always paint the sidewalk through that stretch as a pedestrian crossing also.
Well, how well will it be posted? Will it just have one sign, one do not enter sign, or will it have like one at each end, like large ones that are double-sided?
We have one here, but we could add one here as well.
What about marking the concrete, spray painting on the asphalt, in addition to signs?
That might work for a while. I mean, that would have to be reapplied pretty frequently, probably, but.
While we're kind of thinking, Mr. S, did you want to, go ahead.
I just had a question. So can we kind of
Rich.
summarize? Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I use this for tutoring, and that's why I have
No,
it.
you're good, you're good.
Anyway, I was just asking the question if we could just summarize, depending on if we make any type of motion to approve this or hold off till next month, where we stand with all the suggestions that we've discussed going forward.
I've got a list if you want like me, so so far the developers agreed to add bicycle parking, a bicycle rack with 4 spaces at that position at the front of the lot that Ken talked about. They're gonna add stairs at the back so you can get up to the bus stop. We're gonna adjust the location of the trees around the trash and recycling enclosure and the ones at the front of the site. We'll move those around the lot to make sure they're out of harm's so they aren't obstructing sight distance or obstructing trash and recycling operations. And then there's some discussion on rumble strips at this point.
So I don't know if anyone from PennDOT is here for comment, but I guess my question is kind of along the same lines as Bill is, why did PennDOT think that it would be effective based on past practice on people making illegal turns on different places? Why those rumble strips would be effective in everyone's safety? I guess I'm just asking that as a question based on the lack of effectiveness, as I think Jim said.
Well, let's clarify that the rumble strip, there's no rumble strips anywhere else, so there's been no decision on whether they're effective or not, so.
Well, right, but what I'm saying is, from my perspective, people, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, is unless you have a physical wall barrier, I have seen an entire book of examples of people not following traffic protocol, regardless of if there's township police in close proximity. So I guess what I'm saying is while I would put the faith in PennDOT that this would ensure the safety, I'm really not extremely comfortable with it going forward, but that's just my thoughts.
Well, I think the driveway where the rumble strips are is needed to get trucks in and out of the site. So without that, they can't get the trucks in and out of the site. So somehow you gotta accommodate trucks. If the issue is pedestrian safety, I would say take the sidewalk out there, make it asphalt and stripe the pedestrian walk area like it is on the other driveway so pedestrians know they're on a crosswalk. I don't think there's an option that says we don't have some sort of a driveway right there.
Yeah, and obviously I'm supportive of trucks, but I guess what I'm saying, Doug, is could we put what you just said about the striping in our final thoughts before we would move anything forward to try to do to the best of our abilities to make things as safe as possible?
Yeah, if that's what the planning commission wants to do, and developers probably agreeable, because it's just swapping some concrete for some asphalt and paint, so.
Okay, thank you.
Doug, does anywhere in the township, two questions. One is, are deliveries made during the day? Or are they pretty much made during non-business hours?
They're made at all
Michelle?
hours, typically.
Can you repeat that?
Their deliveries are made at all hours, just depends on what the business wants to do.
Yeah, it really depends on the delivery schedule of the supplier, so.
Okay, I understand. Then I only have, can we go up on the map? I just want to see once the steps are in place, is there illumination nearby, or do we need to have a light near this where these steps will be?
Yeah, I can go to the lighting plan and show you what we have. So there are building-mounted light luminaires at these two locations that light up to the property line. Now, Patton Township zoning has a requirement that we cannot exceed 0.2 foot candles at the property line. So we've gone as much as we've provided as much light as we're illegally allowed to up to
Yeah,
the property.
when it comes to pedestrian paths, we'll let you do a little bit more, just
Okay.
because the
Can
primary.
we have a light there at the,
Yeah.
I think a light at the top of those stairs would be good, but simply because there is a grade there. Commission members, do I stand alone on that, or do we?
Well, why don't we, Jim or Brian, can we just leave it that they provide, a half a foot candle of lighting on the steps and not get
Yeah.
into the weeds about where the poles are?
In agreement, as long as we can got some light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe a good idea is they have those baller type lights that you can incorporate into the railings. They offer some nice, I've seen those incorporated into some nice stairways.
I would probably do that.
Michelle, we're appreciative that you're willing to put the stairs in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Planning Commission, any other thoughts, comments? Do we have a motion?
Well, as long as we,
Doug?
I guess I motion that we go forward, but as long as we specify all of these suggestions or requirements that we've talked about.
You want me to run through those again?
Yes, please.
Okay, so items we've talked about and the developers agreed to, and then Michelle or Ken tell me differently if you're not agreed. Gonna add bicycle racks at the front with space for 4 bicycles. Gonna add some steps at the back to go up to the area by the bus stop and provide lighting on those steps of at least a half a foot candle. Where the rumble strips are in the front, we're going to change that pedestrian path from concrete to asphalt and mark it with the piano keys as the crossings marked on the other driveway. And then we're going to adjust the location of the trees around the trash and recycling enclosure and the trees that are at the front between the two driveways. We're going to move all those trees so they don't interfere with the driveways and the trash, and relocate them to someplace else on the site. And staff and the engineers will work that out. I believe that's everything, plus the
Yeah, well, what
comments
about,
on the.
I thought we were gonna check, to see if the trash, has to be on a, concrete
No.
pad or
Oh,
in
and
asphalt.
the concrete
Yeah, we'll
pad?
check that too.
Okay.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, we're ready for a motion?
Okay, I motion we go forward or we approve with all of those specifications that we just talked about.
For
Second?
me, do we have a second?
Second?
All in favor? Say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? So moved. Thank you, Michelle, for your cooperation.
Thank you.
So
And
this
Ken.
plan will be on the
Thank you,
Board of
Ken.
Supervisors agenda for Wednesday night. That meeting starts at 5:30. You're somewhere in the middle of the meeting, so I'll send you, I think you already got the copy of the board agenda, so we'll see you Wednesday night.
Okay, in talking with Michelle, she just had a few questions, if you
Yes.
have a few moments.
Questions for the planning commission or for the board?
Or for staff.
I think they should probably be discussed at the planning commission.
Yep, go ahead.
So, in terms of when she can start construction, she's hoping to get a lot of these improvements made before the winter hits. And and I had discussed with her, it's going to take some time before we get PennDOT HOP permit. It's just the nature of the beast dealing with PennDOT, that they're short-staffed and they take quite a while with the review times. We're looking at 60 to 90 days to get that permit based on what we've seen. And in talking with Jim Roman, they said their stack is like higher than they've ever seen on their desk, so I
So
don't.
I can answer, we'll put a note on the plan that you have to have the HOP from PennDOT in hand prior to receiving your certificate of occupancy.
Okay, that was what we wanted to find out. So we're hoping that we can at least start with the
Yeah, you
the
can,
parking lot improvements, the landscaping, the sidewalks, the stairs, the lighting improvements, and start can we start the building or not?
the township will say you can, the code office, without the HOP, depends what, you might need me to talk to the code office for the building permit, because there's a section, there's a requirement in the code, in the building code that says you have to have an access permit, although the municipality's planning code doesn't require it for site work, but we can work around it. As long as PennDOT is willing to say they're reviewing the permit and they're gonna give you one, then code generally will let you get a building permit too. When I say code, that's the Center Region Code Administration. They're the ones who do all the building code permitting for us.
Right. We're familiar with them. They're pretty stringent.
And any other questions before we proceed?
Michelle, I think that was the main thing. Was there anything else I missed?
No, that was the main question. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to our next piece of business, which is number 5, status report on pending items. Alex, do you want to weigh in?
Ken, can you unshare your screen, please?
Yes, and I assume that we can leave the meeting, is that,
Yep.
Yes.
okay,
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, everyone.
thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle.
Michelle?
Thank you. Good evening.
You too. Okay. Back to the agenda. Okay, so at the board meeting, back on August 17th, the Patton Township Board conditionally approved Patton Crossing Phase 2. And that is the only item we have under the status report, pending items.
Very good. Number 6, any other business?
I have a question for Mr. Beckel.
Yes.
Go ahead.
How's the search going for finding a replacement for Nicole Pollock?
Yes, we have hired a replacement. Ms. Leslie Warner will be starting on October the 10th. So I intend to bring her over to the township to meet staff that day, and then she'll make it to your first planning commission meeting in November.
Good,
Can
thank
we
you.
have a name again in background?
Yeah, her name is Leslie Warner, and she previously worked for Center County in their transportation, as a transportation planner. And she worked in other, in the private sector in planning as well for several years.
How lucky to find someone local who has experience.
Absolutely.
Any other comments before we adjourn? Okay, we'll adjourn.